Hey, thanks for clicking on my channel. I am so excited today because I have a new newspaper. We will be reading together the Los Angeles Times for 1929, but I have 5 more newspapers from the 1930s, so be watching for that. It will be coming soon. It was lots of fun in Los Angeles area. It was when Hollywood was Hollywoodland. Many of the motion picture stars, silent era of course, loved to go to theme restaurants. Los Angeles in the 1920s and 30s were famous for their theme restaurants. A lot of the stars hung out at the Brown Derby. Another favorite of the Hollywood types was the Pirate's Den, where often even the patrons dressed up in pirate costumes. Arg! Here's a picture of the Pirate's Den restaurant today. Another restaurant you might find amusing was themed like you were a prisoner. It was called the Jail Cafe. You would eat in a jail cell, and the waiter wore a striped prison suit. In some cases, the outside of the building was much more exciting than the inside. Here is a montage of them for you. Us to read our newspaper. We'll be reading the Los Angeles Times dated September 2nd, 1929. Young men rush to be air pilots. Washington, September 1st. Since Colonel Charles A. Limbergh's solo flight across the Atlantic and the recent round-the-world flight of the great Graf Zeppelin, the War Department has been flooded with applications from young men who desire to become Army pilots. Recently, the flood has increased to such an extent that the Secretary of War has found it impossible to grant written examinations for all. Chicas. The only rough stuff now remaining in the world is to be found in flappers. If our chicas ever take it into their heads to become prize fighters, the days of Attila the Hun will fade into pale pink. Fire hazard test novel. Pasadena, September 1st. In an effort to determine whether lighted tobacco dropped from aircraft constitute a serious fire hazard, a test that may prove the vital importance to the protection of California forests will be conducted Friday by the Los Angeles County Forestry Department. A tri-motored airliner will soar into the sky at San Fernando, and observers will drop scores of lighted cigarettes and cigar stubs on guarded forest areas. If the tests result in starting a large number of fires, forest officials will seek passage of an ordinance regulating smoking in aircraft above Los Angeles County. Fine cut for babies. Mention is made of a 3-year-old child in Denver who has been brought up to use tobacco for medicinal purposes. The strange idea prevailed that if the kid could use strong tobacco, it would gain strength of its own. They say that is what happened. The kid now puffs a mean pipe. Also, Kitty can chew plug tobacco on occasion, thus proving that to keep up with the rising generation, it is necessary to watch it smoke. Cast thy teeth upon the waters. An Ontario man is reported by the Elsinore Leader Press, which may possibly have picked up the story from the Ontario Report, with an experience which shows how simple preserving steadfastness is rewarded in the end. With a party of friends, the Ontario man went deep-sea fishing in a small, nervous boat, and when the boat waves made the little boat extremely skittish, as well as all the others, leaned impulsively over the boat side and engaged in a lunch casting contest. So great was his ardor for that sport that when he could not bring up anything else to cast upon the waters, he did a great sput and casted forth his false teeth, a good 18 feet. But he held on to his fishing line, and when the waters calmed, perhaps dismayed by such unusual missiles, he resumed his fishing, mumbling to himself toothless words which seemed to be, "A man must eat, and how?" Finally, he caught a fine fish, and when it was cut up for cooking, lo! In the fish's interior he found his stray teeth. Now we suppose some of the tape measure boys will spring up to dispute this story, as they did the one Jonah once told to explain his long absence. But we are full of innocent trustfulness and unhesitantly award it a medal of the best fish story of the week. Suggestions for men's dress. Is it weakness, lack of initiative, or lack of courage that keeps the male of the species in bondage? In New York at present, they are carrying things to extremes, this foolishness of wearing pajamas in the street. But seriously speaking, why don't the men discard some of their clothes? Long ago, women threw away their closets, bobbed their hair, and now live as cool and comfortable as possible. But custom seems to have the stronger sex in tow. I would suggest roll-down socks, Palm Beach trousers, shirt cut with half sleeves and low roll-down collars, and nothing but the lightest undies. My husband and I attended a lecture last night in a suffocating hot hall. The women all removed their coats, exposing sleeveless gowns, and the men sat and sweltered with tight collars, coats, and heavy trousers on. Will not some he-man start a society or club to get the men together and declare emancipation of some of their excess clothing? In other words, make it the style or custom to discard part of their clothes, so our dignified husbands will feel properly dressed wearing a collarless shirt or short sleeves. One who hates to see suffering, even in human animals. Laura P. Valentine. The Labor Day holiday will be celebrated in fitting style at Grauman's Chinese Theater with deluxe presentation of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's Hollywood Review of 1929 at both matinee and evening performances. This musical extravaganza is now in its 11th week, having been viewed by nearly 300,000 people. It presents a cast of several hundred and features 30 stars.